All right, so let's take a look at the stock market. Stock market right now is giving us a really good indication on what's going on with crypto. So this is the daily chart on the stock market, the S&P 500. You can see that when we look at the S&P right here, each one of these candlesticks represents one day because we're on the daily chart. So the last 2 days for the stock market has been red. Okay, so then when we go over to Bitcoin, just go to this chart. You can see that this is again the daily chart, and you can see that the last 2 days for Bitcoin have been red. So in my last video, I said that Bitcoin, the main chart that I want you guys to look at is going to be this chart with the Bollinger Bands. And I said, we're going to keep writing these Bollinger Bands. And for the last, I think I made the video like right around here. So we're going to keep, or maybe right here, we're going to start writing the Bollinger Bands. And every time the price comes down, it's going to correct back into these bands, which it did. I mean, it came up. People thought we were going to hit higher. It went to 45,000. Then, we went up a little bit more to 44. And then we just recently hit 45. I hit 45 here. We hit 45,859, so almost 46. And I told you guys what was going to happen. I said that we're basically just going to keep writing these bands unless the stock market goes down. That's what I'm looking at. And the stock market ended up going down. Literally, I circled it just to make it ultra obvious. You can see that there's an extremely high correlation between traditional markets and the stock market, or traditional markets and the crypto markets. So we're looking for a recovery, and in the weekend, anything can really happen because today's Friday, the stock market just closed. And so I expect price to really just go sideways. Let's take a look at a 4-hour chart. I expect price to pretty much just go sideways in the immediate short term. Let me look at what the 4 hours is going on. We've broken a lot of VPR support, so I mean we can retest it, but we've already proven that we can go above it. So I'm not really concerned about this. We were talking about VPR support on the daily chart. We haven't tested the areas we were talking about yet. That was at 47. We're not there yet. Usually when the price is below this white line right here, this is an SMA, so simple moving average, price tends to be more bearish, and price action right now looks like it's riding, like it wants to continue to go down. It's just correcting back into the Bollinger Bands. So a slow, steady grind down slash going sideways seems to be what the price action wants to do. There's not really any patterns. If anything, this was more of an uptrend right here, and it looks like it was broken, but the measured move for that would be probably around where we're at right now. I'm not going to measure it because it's not. Maybe a little bit further down. Going to the 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, you could draw this a bunch of different ways, but it looks like essentially what happened is you have this very clear uptrend, and then you can see that the price just broke down, had a little bit of a rebound, and then it's continuing down. So you have this downtrend forming now, and it's broken this low right here, so it's setting lower lows. These highs are becoming lower highs. So going sideways, going down over the next few days. And then if you want to see a recovery, you're going to have to wait for the stock market to open Monday. And if it opens and it's looking good and the stock market recovers, then that's when we could start to see Bitcoin's price really going up. It's the weekend, so anything can happen. People could buy large amounts and change the price. But it's so cool how I have it on the daily and then it translates it to the 1 hour and still keeps the line there. All right. So yeah, the stock market doesn't look terribly good either. but we always see corrections, and even though this doesn't necessarily look good right here, this is technically still an uptrend, because when you start right here and you build up, you do have an uptrend, because this is a low and this low is still higher, and this is a high and this is still a higher high. So on the more macro, it does look like the correction is possible. The only thing that I'm really seeing right now is this right here, this right here. This looks like a triple top, a little funky one, but every pattern's gonna be perfect. A little funky triple top, neckline, measured move, be right here. So we could go down to right here, and based off of the last few days and the candlesticks that the last few days, because I just pulled out the daily chart, it looks like we could hit that in a day. You know, this candlestick's gonna close Monday when it opens up. Like, what's this move right here? This seems like pretty average size candle. It's about a 1% move. That's pretty typical on the S&P. So that brings us right to about where we would see a correction. And the stock market overall is like recovered so well. You see constant corrections and you see it recover. So we could just come down a little bit, and then what we would want to see is, this is really what we're looking at, this line right here, because the second that we have a line right here, then this is on the daily, so we're starting to reverse on the daily chart. So if we see a candlestick close over here, this could definitely happen within the week. So as the week goes on, as the stock market opens up, maybe stock market continues to go down. Over the week, we grind back up. As soon as we hit this area, that's going to give the stock market the opportunity to fully recover, as long as there's no bad news in the stock market, because that's what constantly is bringing the price down. That and the Federal Reserve unclear on monetary policies, like raising interest rates. They want to raise them, but there's still a lot of uncertainty on the table, which makes it hard for investors to step in and put down serious money, which is what's essentially basically causing this correction. Worst case scenario, and you know, it didn't. You had a correction right here, and it didn't happen here. So worst case scenario, we come down to this, you know, 43,400 on the S&P, and then start going up. Now, this isn't a support line, this is a metric, so we don't need to hit this area and bounce. We could, you know, do something like this where we come out of the Bollinger Bands for a very short amount of time and then come back in. But worst case scenario, we're eyeing this level at 4,300. But that's what you need to know. That's exactly what you need to know. I tell you guys like exactly what you need to look at, and right now I think you need to look at the stock market. Like I said before, when crypto was doing better, you know, when it was at 45, high 45s, I was like, hey, we need to look at the Bollinger Bands, because it's going to come back inside there and we're going to grind up like that. And that's exactly what happened. I said stock market goes down, stock market went down. Told you exactly. I mean, it could not have been more perfect. And now what I'm saying is that, yeah, we need to continue to look at the stock market. And even though, you know, the stock market's closed, so I think that, you know, crypto overall is bullish, like on the higher time frames. I think we could slowly still correct down, trade sideways. I don't think we're going to see some bullish momentum that's crazy unless we have some crazy news come out, because the only real pattern right here would be like a double bottom with the neckline being right here, but we've already broken past the neckline, almost temporarily invalidating this pattern right now. And so I don't see us I don't see us playing that bullish pattern out right now. I think some guys were talking about it, but that was before the neckline was broken. Really what you want to see is you want to see a retest of the neckline. You don't want to see it break. But that would bring us up to like 55, and that is potentially still in play, just it's not on the table right now. So that's going to do it for the video. That's like everything you need to know in crypto right now, what's going on with the market. And yes, it does look like there's a good recovery, no matter how you draw this trend line. This looks pretty good like that. I mean, we've broken bullish out of so many different metrics. The one thing as we're correcting down that you want to look at that's been so fundamental is this EMA ribbon. And I mean, boom, I didn't even check it, but right there you can see that we just hit it as support. As these EMA ribbons cross like they are, that's not a bad thing at all, because like this one crossing this one, the price action still above, so this is actually bullish. It's flipping the EMA, which is what you want to see on the slower time frames. But if price continues to hold down, like if we continue to go down into these levels, this is our last level of major support, because it's not in the EMA either, or it's not in the VPR support. This whole area right here, around 41 to 38. So we don't want to go back down there and totally test this major double bottom area right here, the neckline of it. We definitely don't want to do that. I mean, this pattern's essentially from this perspective, with the neckline right here and this being the double bottom, has definitely already played out. But we don't want to come down and test the neckline. That is a possibility though, if we fail to hold these EMA supports. Right now we found it as support, and I mean, like I just told you, it's in the charts, it's showing that this is a significant, time and time again, like we constantly are testing these. So this is definitely the indicator to be looking at, and it's definitely extremely relevant. So as soon as we break the EMA right here, if we do, we could have 38 in the cards again. Will that happen this weekend? Maybe. If stock market continues to go down the way it's been going down, it makes sense that that scenario would play out. So that's literally everything you need to know right now in the markets.